Hey, what's going on? I just want to. This is the first time I'm ever using Chat GPT. Um, Literally, the first time I got into it, just signed up, and I've heard a bunch of good things, and I'm just interested. And everybody's like, "Oh, how you using it to code?" And I use GitHub Copilot to like a minor, in a minor way. But apart from that, there's no AI in any of the code that I do. So, I figured I would check it out. So, my intro is always "Hola, hola," and it started speaking in Spanish, and it's interesting. First glance is it's you can see where it misses still, but um, the misses that it has are just they're okay. Um, so and it's yeah, they're okay. They're not big things. So I had to prompted to speak in English. So I asked it a general question of I would like to I'm approaching this from a point of view of imagine I was talking to a junior developer. These are the kind of questions that I would ask them, not in like a specific way. When I'm interviewing someone, I'm not like um, I wouldn't ask this question. I would ask, I would just give direction and then check to see if the individual is following that direction or doing their own thing. They may still be able to achieve whatever result I'm seeking, but, a purpose, a big purpose for me in those junior developer roles, coding interviews is, can you fit into this system? We don't necessarily need that individual to come in, or the priority isn't for that individual to come in and change the system. That's going to happen over time, but that junior engineer is developer is really should really be focused on how can I figure out how this team is doing ABC, and what are the repeatable steps in that. So I wasn't thinking about that going into this, but it's similar, like I said, to those experiences. So I just have to be more blunt and straightforward, maybe even a little condescending with the robots. So I just said, okay, how good are you at taking direction? If I give you a set of guidelines, do I have to specify those guidelines every time, or is it just once you got it, they got it? So code base. So pretty much it just said, yes, I can help. This is a good idea to put in there too. So I give two rules for React Native component. There are essentially like how do you want to structure the component using function components over class-based components. And if you're watching this from a non-developer standpoint, a component is just like this row here is a component, right? And into this row, you're saying here's the user who sent the message, here's the message that the user has sent. All of that is like specific to this one comment, and that we can consider that a component. So there are many different ways to structure like the foundation of a component. I'm just saying do it one way versus another. Components should be styled using a local const styles. So this is just defining, if I want to make this row white as opposed to gray, what I'm saying is that the styles are what, makes it pretty or changes the colors, the shape, and the size and everything. That should exist at a certain spot, because there's, as I said, also different ways to do that. And then I actually misclicked the enter button here, but it just went ahead and created my first component, but it's fine. So like I said, a couple things. So code and components should be built using function components. That's what this is, right? So it picked that up right away. It picked it up pretty much right away. Components should be styled using a local const styles. So local styles, like I said, for the non-developers, it is, we need to somehow specify that whatever text we're looking at, whatever text we're looking at, or piece of the screen we're looking at, we have to define, like I said, how pretty we want to make it. Those definitions have to live somewhere. They can live inside of here, or they can live in its own space. You know, the big goal of development is that everything exists within its own space, right? And you know that even goes down to styling, or like I said, making it look fancy. If someone were to put the styles in here, that's a big indication of a junior developer, because you know it wouldn't be that big of an issue here, but you know, imagine a big file that's, you know, 1,000 lines long. It could get, you know, very messy very quickly. So, you know, first glance, it was able to virtually catch everything. Now, based on preferences and how we do stuff at THT, there's a couple things that you know I would immediately ask a developer to change. One is bringing this below the component. That's just our typical convention. Up here, we have the imports. Then we also have, like, you know, static values that will never change, like milliseconds in an hour. That value is always going to be the same. So we can, you know, give it its own spot. Stuff like, you know, types and interfaces and stuff like that, which, you know, aren't important, I guess, just yet. So yeah, that would be, yeah, picked up pretty much everything. And let's see, it gives a description afterwards, which, you know, I guess could be helpful. I just ignore it. So my first instruction is please place the styles below my first component. So I gave the same exact thing, just moved it down, you know, very quickly there. I said that is correct. I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, what kind of feedback does it need in order to, like, confirm the response? So then I asked, I mean, at this point it's going to get technical, so apologize for you non-technical folks. I'm just going to talk as though, you know, developers are still watching, I guess. So we need to pass information to this row. We need to pass, like I said, we need to pass the user that sent it, the message that was sent, you know, whether or not it was liked, and, you know, any helper text that is necessary. This is how we do it in development. Declare local. This is how we do it at THT. We declare local props type and give it some properties, and then we pass it. You know, we just pass it there. So this isn't quite how we do things. We typically have, we don't use the react.fc, so therefore we would need to do the colon, or the colon props. But then going further, so just to show you the end result, this is what we typically do. We have a type, we do props, and then we deconstruct within the component. So that's the end goal. Eventually, you know, spoiler, it did eventually get to the end goal. So I said, okay, I didn't even say any. Oh, so up here actually, I said props to components should be deconstructed within the component, and I even gave an example. I'm trying to figure out, like, what parts do I need, like how much does giving an example, how much does that actually help? And it didn't seem to help right away. Because, you know, okay, so props and components should be deconstructed. We have a local type called props, so that's what we got up here. And I even tried to, like, re-reference and re-highlight, like, because that's what I do in Loom videos, right? I say, hey, here's what I did. Let me go back and, you know, re-explain the key points, or, you know, re-explain what it is that I just did and why I just did it. So I gave an example, and I tried to, like, go back and highlight, you know, why did I give that example? And it got the props right. It got the general idea right, but it didn't listen to this part. But on the first go, and I haven't read this, but then all I said was almost there, and I was fully expecting Chat GPT to respond with, like, okay, well, like, what else? You know, what more insight do you need? Oh, I didn't even read this. Here's a corrected code where the prop is deconstructed within a component body, instead of, like, I didn't even see that. But it was able to go back. It was actually crazy. It was able to go back, digest the situation, figure out, go back on what I asked, I guess throughout the entirety of it, put them all on a list, and essentially go through and say, I got this. Oh, it looks like I didn't get this. You know, so I'd be interested if I gave multiple sites of feedback, like, you know, this wasn't correct, and this, you know, do A, B, C, and D, but then it only does A and D. If I say stuff like almost there, or like, not quite, would it then go back and recognize that B and C needs to be fixed, or would it be a situation where it says, oh, I didn't do B, here you go, B is fixed, and then almost there, oh, I didn't do C, here C is fixed. So very, very interested in all of that. So yeah, look, then like I said, almost there. It recognized what the issue was, and is my mic on? Okay, thank God. Sometimes I get into these videos, it's not on. But then, like I said, we don't use React.fc. So what I want is colon props here. So I said, oh, nice, that is correct. And then it gave some feedback. So I guess I wasn't completely truthful, but I just wanted to, I guess, solidify what it had done up until that point. So yeah. So it said, I'm glad to hear. Let me know if there's anything else. And then I said, please don't describe the code after you finished. And it said, okay. So I thought it was fine. But then I said, please remove React.fc. And then it went backwards. It said it went back to deconstructing in the signature. And then I left a comment saying, please don't do that. And then it was here. And then you can see that it still gives a description, but it's much less of a description. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy, like what just happened with this. This was a span of 5, maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes, and it was able to get this out. So I'm gonna keep digging. I would like to check out if I'm guessing this saves the prompts over time, and if I gotta pay to just keep this, then I'm happy to do that. So yeah, very cool. Very cool first experience here with Chat GPT. It is, I feel like I'm already hooked, and I'll keep getting into this. So, so yeah, appreciate watching. See ya.